We've been lied to about success. I know that sounds aggressive to start, but let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
We are raised on this core belief, it's the American dream, really, that success is the result of grit, talent, and just outworking the other guy.
The whole bootstraps narrative.
Exactly,
Yeah.
the self-made billionaire. But here's the problem. If that were true, the hardest working people in the world would be the richest, and they aren't.
Not even close.
So what if the self-made man is a myth? What if Bill Gates and the world's best athletes didn't just work hard, but were actually, statistical accidents?
It's a powerful idea because it puts us in control, right? But it's flawed.
Yeah.
This is where you have to look at what I like to call the ecology of success. We always look at the tallest tree in the forest and we say, wow, what a great seed.
Right, that tree just wanted it more.
But we forget to ask about the forest itself. Did that tree get more sunlight? Was the soil richer? Did it just happen to miss the lumberjack?
We're digging into that soil today, and our guide for this deep dive is Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers. And this is not a self-help book. It's more like an expose on the glitches in the matrix of success.
I like that. Glitches in the matrix.
We're going to unpack why pro hockey players all seem to be born in the same 3 months, the hidden math behind Bill Gates' fortune, and why being born in 1955 was basically like winning the lottery.
It's so fascinating because Gladwell's whole point is that these personal explanations, he's brilliant, she's driven, they just don't work on their own. Success is really an accumulation of advantages.
Accumulation of advantages. Let's hold on to that phrase. Let's start with the most concrete example, the hockey player glitch.
Oh yeah, this one is just wild.
So you look at the rosters for the best junior hockey teams in Canada,
Yeah.
the Memorial Cup. These are the absolute best young players in the world, the future NHL stars.
The elite of the elite.
And you just assume they're there because of genes or drive or coordination. But a psychologist, Roger Barnsley, he noticed something weird. He looked at their birthdays.
And it was just a bizarre statistical anomaly, something that should not exist. He found that a huge number of these elite players were born in January, February, and March.
A huge number. We're talking 40% of players are born in the first quarter of the year.
And what about the other end?
Only 10% are born in October, November, or December. So if your kid is born on Christmas Day in Canada, his chance of making the NHL is, well, it's tiny compared to a kid born on New Year's Day.
It sounds like astrology, but it's just bureaucracy. It's the eligibility cutoff date for age class hockey, January 1st.
Okay, so let's break down what that actually means. If I turn 10 on January 2nd, I'm in the 10-year-old league for the whole year.
Correct. But you're playing against a boy who won't turn 10 until December 31st.
So he's almost a full year younger than me.
And at that age, a 12-month gap in maturity is massive.
Yeah.
The January kid is just bigger, faster, more coordinated. He's been alive like 10% longer.
But the coaches, they don't see older, they just see better.
Exactly. They confuse maturity with ability. So the better, which really just means older kids get picked for the elite travel squads. And this is where the Matthew effect kicks in.
Which is that sociological term Gladwell brings in from the Bible, right? For unto everyone that hath shall be given.
That's the one. Once those January kids get picked, the whole system starts working for them. They get better coaching. They play 75 games a season instead of 20.
They practice 2-3 times as much.
So by the time they're 14 or 15, they really are better, significantly better.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't start with more talent. It started with an arbitrary advantage, a birth date that just compounded year after year.
That's the accumulative advantage. We're just writing off half the athletic population because of a calendar date.
And it happens in soccer in Europe, just with the September 1st cutoff.
Yeah.
It even happens in schools. The oldest fourth graders consistently score higher than the youngest ones.
And then we put them in the gifted track, and the gap gets even wider.
We create outliers. We don't just find them.
Okay, but you might be thinking, fine, that's sports, that's physical. What about pure intellect? This brings us to the 10,000-hour rule.
Right. This is the part of the book everyone knows, but they usually miss the real point. It comes from a study by K. Anders Ericsson on violinists in Berlin.
And he found there were no naturals who just floated to the top, and no grinds who worked super hard but never made it.
Exactly. What separated the good from the great from the truly elite was simply how much they practiced. And the magic number for mastery seemed to be 10,000 hours.
But Gladwell flips this. We hear that and think, okay, I just need to work harder. But 10,000 hours, that is an enormous amount of time.
It's 3 hours a day, every single day, for 10 years. You can't do that alone. You need money. You need parents who support you. You need to not have a full-time job. It's not about the will to practice, it's about the opportunity.
Let's talk about Bill Joy, the Edison of the internet, co-founded Sun Microsystems, genius. But look at his environment, his ecology.
He got into the University of Michigan in 1971. And Michigan, at that time, had one of the first, most advanced time-sharing computer systems in the world.
We should probably explain why that's such a big deal. Before that, you used punch cards.
Right. You'd type your code onto a card, give it to an operator, and come back hours later to see if it worked. It was incredibly slow. There was no feedback loop.
You could not get 10,000 hours that way. But Michigan had this system where you could program in real time. And there was a glitch.
A bug in the system. If you type TK, the computer wouldn't charge you for your time.
That is $1 million typo.
It really was. Bill Joy basically lived in that computer center. He programmed day and night because he had unlimited free access to a multi-million-dollar mainframe, an opportunity that almost no one else his age had in the entire world.
And then there's the ultimate case study, Bill Gates. The narrative is dropout genius. But let's look closer. Gates went to an elite private school, Lakeside. In 1968, the Mothers Club had a rummage sale.
They raised $3,000. And instead of, new football helmets, they bought an ASR-33 teletype terminal, a computer.
In 1968, most universities didn't have a computer club then.
That's the key. Bill Gates had real-time programming access as an 8th grader.
And it was that accumulation again. When the school's money ran out, he found a company called C-Cubed that let him test their software on nights and weekends.
Then he found out the University of Washington had a mainframe that was free to use between 3 and 6 in the morning.
So he was sneaking out of his house as a teenager to go code?
By the time he dropped out of Harvard to start Microsoft, he had been programming pretty much nonstop for 7 straight years. He was way past his 10,000 hours. He was probably the only teenager on the planet with that specific run of luck.
So brilliant, yes. But he was also the January 1st hockey player of the software world.
The talent needs the opportunity. Without the Mothers Club, without C-Cubed, without that bug at Michigan for Bill Joy, the talent might have gone nowhere.
Which leads us to the next layer. Not just what opportunities you get, but when you are born. The 1955 miracle.
This is one of my favorite parts. If you look at the 75 richest people in all of human history, a full 20% of the Americans on that list were born in a single 9-year window in the mid-1800s.
Why then?
Because they came of age, just as the railroads and Wall Street were exploding. Born too early, you're stuck in the old economy. Born too late, all the spots are taken.
And the exact same pattern happened in Silicon Valley. The personal computer revolution kicks off in 1975 with the Altair 8800.
So, to be in the perfect position to ride that wave, you needed to be in your early 20s right then. Old enough to be out of high school, but not so old that you're already settled into a career.
So let's play that out. Born in, say, 1945.
You're 30, you've got a good job at IBM, maybe a mortgage, a family. You're part of the mainframe establishment. You're not going to risk it all on a little computer kid.
And if you were born in 1960?
You're 15, you're still in high school, you missed the boat.
The sweet spot, the Goldilocks zone, is right around 1954 and 1955. Now, listen to this list. Bill Gates.
Born October 28th, 1955.
His co-founder, Paul Allen.
January 24th, 1953.
Steve Jobs.
February 24th, 1955.
Eric Schmidt, who ran Google for years.
April 27, 1955, Bill Joy, who we mentioned. November 8, 1954, the founders of Sun Microsystems. All born 54 or 55.
It's unbelievable. It's like a secret code embedded in their birth certificate.
It's demographic luck. If Bill Gates had been born 10 years earlier, he's probably a very successful mathematician somewhere, but he's not Bill Gates. He would have missed the wave.
So you've got opportunity, we've got timing, but Gladwell goes even deeper into cultural legacies. And this part, for me, this explains why Asian cultures are statistically so dominant in math.
Right. And he is very clear this is not about genetics. It's about two things. The structure of their languages and, believe it or not, the history of rice farming.
Let's start with the language. Our number system in English is, well, it's a mess.
It's so clunky. You have 11, 12, 13. They don't follow a logical pattern. In Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, the system is perfectly transparent. 11 is 10-1, 12 is 10-2, 24 is 2-10-4.
And the words themselves are shorter to pronounce.
Which is a huge deal.
Oh.
Our short-term memory loop is about 2 seconds long. You can hold as many numbers in your head as you can say in 2 seconds. Since Chinese number words are so brief, a Chinese speaker can hold more digits in their memory at once.
So by age 5, Kids in China are already a year ahead of American kids in just basic counting skills. Their language gives them a head start.
Exactly. But the really deep legacy comes from the rice paddy.
The rice paddy work ethic. I never thought about the difference between growing wheat and growing rice.
It's night and day. Western agriculture, wheat and corn, it's mechanical. And you have a long winter where the fields are fallow, you hibernate.
But rice farming.
Rice is relentless. It's skill-oriented, complex, and it's 3,000 hours of labor a year. You have to level the paddy, manage the water, weed constantly. A European peasant worked about 1,000 hours a year. A Chinese rice farmer, 3,000.
He quotes that proverb. No one who can rise before dawn 360 days a year fails to make his family rich.
It creates a culture where effort and reward are directly linked. The harder you work, the more precise you are, the more rice you get. And this, Gladwell argues, connects directly to math.
How does that work? From rice to calculus.
Persistence. Success in math isn't just about being a genius. It's about the willingness to sit with a problem you don't understand and just grind it out.
There's that Renee tape example in the book. This student struggles with a single math problem for 22 straight minutes. She just doesn't quit.
While most of us would give up after 2 or 3 minutes. Gladwell's point is that a culture shaped by centuries of rice farming, where quitting is not an option, just has a higher cultural persistence. In fact, you can predict a country's international math scores just by measuring how much of a tedious background questionnaire the students are willing to fill out.
Wait, seriously, the kids who patiently fill out the boring form are the same ones who get the best math scores.
Precisely. It's a proxy for persistence. It's the cultural legacy of the rice paddy.
And this brings us to the modern day with the KIPP schools. These charter schools in places like the South Bronx that get these incredible results.
And they do it by basically adopting the rice paddy model. Our American school year, with a long summer break, is based on the Western agricultural calendar, the fallow season.
Which we now know is a disaster for low-income kids. That's where the achievement gap comes from, in the summer.
Exactly. So KIPP's philosophy is, we just need more time. Their school day runs from 7:25 a.m. to 5:00 p.m. They have school on Saturdays. They have summer school. They are putting in the hours.
They're getting their 10,000 hours.
They are trading leisure time for opportunity. It's a bargain that a lot of these families are willing to make. And it works.
So let's bring this all together. We started with the myth of the self-made billionaire. When you look at Bill Gates now, you can't just see a genius.
No, you see a brilliant man, for sure. But you also see the Mother's Club. You see the luck of being born in 1955. You see the PC revolution happening at the perfect time.
And a pro hockey player isn't just talent. He's also a January birthday.
Success is not a solo act. It's an accumulation of advantages. Some are earned, absolutely, but some are just dumb luck. Your birth month, your birth year, the work ethic of your great-great-grandparents.
It really makes you wonder, this is the thought that sticks with me, if Canada just created a second elite hockey league for kids born in the second half of the year, they would literally double their talent pool overnight.
They're throwing away half their potential talent because of an arbitrary line in the sand.
So the big question to leave you with is this. How many Bill Gateses have we lost? How many geniuses were out there but they were born in the wrong year? Or their school's mother's club bought football uniforms instead of a computer?
We focus so much on the individual. We forget how much society and structure and luck play a role. The goal shouldn't just be to celebrate the outliers. It should be to build a world where more people get a chance to even start logging their 10,000 hours.
Exactly. So look for those hidden advantages in your own story and maybe think about how we can create them for others. That's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for listening.